Right now on WJZ's All Local News at 6, a wet and windy weekend is in store.
That's right, Denise. We're tracking a potential nor'easter that could bring some coastal flooding, wet weather, and gusty winds. We'll give the latest timeline of when the rain will arrive and who could see the most impacts coming up.
The water may be green and smelly, but the health of Baltimore's harbor earns a passing grade. The future still uncertain for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the testimony heard in court today. And remembering Captain D fans, the life and legacy of the Ravens superfan being honored by other fans tonight.
On your corner, in your corner. This is WJZ News, all local news at 6.
A live look at Ocean City, where a coastal storm is expected to bring high winds, elevated tides, and dangerous surf conditions this weekend. Hello, everybody. I'm Denise Koch, and welcome to WJZ's All Local News at 6. Here on the Western Shore, we will be getting some much-needed rain. Outside right now, skies turning gray. The rain and wind could impact weekend plans, including the Fells Point Fun Festival and Sunday's Ravens game. Chief Meteorologist Derek Beasley in the First Alert Weather Center with more on the timing and the impacts to our area. Derek.
Well, Denise, that's right. It looks like the rain's going to start making its way into the region as early as tomorrow afternoon in a spotty, more scattered form, and then the steadier rain should move in coming up on Sunday. So right now, it looks like Sunday is going to be the worst day of weather across our area. Let's get right to First Alert Doppler radar. We're dry now, but look to the south. There's the area of low pressure that's trying to get organized to our south. And that's what's going to track up the coast, giving us that chance for some rain. Tomorrow, again, it looks like it'll just be cloudy. There will be some scattered showers. They'll develop by late morning into the afternoon. I don't expect anything steady or too heavy. But then by Sunday, we expect those chances for rain to really start ramping up. The winds will be gusty out of the northeast. On the eastern shore, we can see wind gusts over 40 miles an hour, and that coastal flood threat will be a problem. And we'll likely see some of this rain last into Monday before things start to calm down. But again, Futurecast shows the rain gradually spreading into the region here by the time we head towards tomorrow afternoon. But then the heaviest of the rain will make its way into our region, it looks like, as we get towards, I'd say, Sunday into Sunday night. So again, your neighborhood forecast, love to be able to show it to you. We have some data issues, but it looks like temps tonight, low 60s for most areas, and then highs tomorrow afternoon, topping out near 70 degrees. We'll have a complete look at what to expect for this weekend in your neighborhood forecast coming up. Back to you, Denise.
All right, thank you, Derek. You can stay up to date with the First Alert Weather Team by downloading the free CBS News app. Scan that QR code on your screen, or you can find it in the App Store. Well, despite the current smell, Baltimore's harbor gets a C grade for overall ecosystem health. Janae Reese on your corner in Fells Point with reaction to the release of the new Healthy Harbor Report Card.
I'm not a big fan of the smell. It smells like sulfur or eggs or something, but the water looks, like a blue tropical paradise. So there's a little bit of a plus to it.
People like Sonny Antonelli and his friends live and work near the Inner Harbor and can't help but wonder when the pistachio tide will end.
I take the boat to work every day, so it's definitely making the commute pretty awful, having to deal with it.
The water looks very pretty, but it doesn't smell great, and so hopefully it won't deter people from coming down here, because I know Fells Fest is huge.
Most neighbors say they're used to the smell by now, and it will not stop them from enjoying the festivities.
I'll be here. You get a couple drinks in you, you don't smell anything anyway.
During the 2025 Healthy Harbor Report Card announcement, environmental leaders addressed the pistachio tide, recent fish kills, and more.
We've come a long way, and now we have some new things we got to figure out. But we will. I'm convinced we will.
Experts say this is all due to a turnover event that caused oxygen levels in the Inner Harbor to drop to zero.
With no oxygen for 2 weeks, all the living organisms in the harbor have either escaped or perished.
Data gathered in 2024 by Blue Water Baltimore and Waterfront Partnership graded the Inner Harbor a C once again.
There are actions we can take to keep this from happening again.
But data also shows the harbor is considered conditionally safe for swimming, except within 48 hours of rainfall.
The weather doesn't always do what we want. We humans are messy, and we have created a lot of problems. But we are great problem solvers.
Leaders say they are in the process of creating a work group filled with scientists, city and state leaders to monitor changes with the harbor.
Our Patapsco River and harbor is worth advocating for, and Baltimore is a swimmable city.
Leaders went on to say that they hope that the incoming wet and windy weather will help push some of this pistachio tide out the way so the harbor can breathe again. For now, reporting on your corner In Fells Point, I'm Janae Reese for WJZ.
Thank you, Janae. We are learning more about the man fatally shot by police in Dundalk and the officers who fired their weapons. The Maryland Attorney General's office is identifying the man killed Wednesday as 55-year-old Robert Adams. Baltimore County Police were called to his home on Lark Hall Road to investigate reports of shots being fired. Officers say they opened fire when Adams appeared in a second-story window with a weapon. 6 officers fired their guns. Their years of service range from 1 to 6 years. The AG's investigation into the deadly shooting is ongoing. And a 16-year-old student at Parkville High School is being charged as an adult after Baltimore County Police say the student brought a gun to school. According to police, the student ran from administrators when they were about to search the student's backpack. They reported seeing the handle of what appeared to be a handgun. A school resource officer took the student into custody during a search of the area. Police say the resource officer found an unloaded gun and later a discarded magazine. The student is currently charged with a handgun violation. Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie have been arrested for allegedly reporting a fake burglary and theft. Now, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office says the couple reported more than $450,000 worth of jewelry and luxury goods were stolen from their home in Finksburg while they were on vacation. Investigators say the Osefos had actually returned many of the items and in some cases kept them, though they reported them stolen. Both are charged with multiple counts of insurance fraud. The couple is out on bond. Well, after a hearing that lasted nearly 7 hours, questions still remain tonight over the future of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran immigrant who was mistakenly deported to his home country back in March. Today, the court heard what the government has been doing to try to deport Abrego Garcia to a new third country and what will happen from here. Ashley Paul has been at the courthouse in Greenbelt all day. She joined us now live with details from inside the courtroom. Long session, Ashley.
Yeah, Denise, it was about 7 hours, and it ended with attorneys for Kilmar Abrego Garcia arguing that the government was purposely choosing potential locations to send him to that were not palatable in an attempt to keep him incarcerated here in America, despite the fact that Costa Rica said they will willingly take him and Kilmar Abrego Garcia said he would willingly go there. Now, if you take a look at this video from outside the courtroom this morning, you can see a large crowd here to rally in favor of freeing Abrego Garcia. But inside the courtroom, following several hours of testimony, it appears the United States has still not found a third country willing to accept him. Multiple nations, including Eswatini, Uganda, and Ghana, were discussed throughout the day as Abrego Garcia remains in America due to an injunction filed by Judge Paula Zines blocking the Trump administration from removing him. Now, according to the government witness ICE official John Schultz, Eswatini has reached an agreement with the United States to accept people deported from the U.S., assuring they will not be persecuted, tortured, or subject to deportation back in their home country. However, they have not agreed to accept Abrego Garcia. Schultz told the courtroom that those discussions are ongoing after the United States only reached out to Eswatini on Wednesday. Testimony also touched on the possibility of sending Abrego Garcia to Ghana after a notice of potential deportation to the country was sent prematurely. But according to a social media post this morning from Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister, Ghana will not be accepting Abrego Garcia either. And also, we learned today that Uganda said that they won't accept him either. We heard from Abrego Garcia's attorney after the hearing today. Here's what he had to say.
The witness clarified that all 3 African countries that have been asked so far have said no. Uganda said no, Eswatini said no, and now apparently as of this morning, the foreign minister of Ghana has said no. And that there's no current plan to remove him from the country, although they're certainly going to keep trying.
Now, Judge Zines criticized the government, saying that her order was to have a witness come testify about what has been done to deport Abrego Garcia and where they will go from here, including knowledge of the Costa Rica option. And she said that this witness had no knowledge of that whatsoever. So now we're waiting on her decision, which we should have in the coming days. And of course, we'll bring you those details as soon as we know them. But for now, reporting live outside of U.S. District Court, I'm Ashley Paul, WJZ.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Well, the government shutdown is now in its 10th day and still no end in sight. Maryland is home, of course, to more than 200,000 federal workers. The Trump administration now issuing reduction in force notices. They went to various agencies, including the Treasury, Education, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services departments. Both sides of the aisle continue to blame each other for the shutdown. And happening right now, here's a live look, a candlelight vigil underway on Ravens Walk outside of M&T Bank Stadium in memory of longtime superfan Wes Henson, better known as Captain Defense. Henson died earlier this week at the age of 74. He, of course, was a fixture at Ravens games for decades, always donning that great captain's hat, carrying his signature D and picket fence cutouts. Beyond the stadium, he was active in community work. He was also a military veteran and a cancer survivor. You could see by the turnout just how many people he impacted in a positive way. He made us all feel better about the team, win or lose, every time you saw him there. Well, the Ravens are hoping to turn things around this weekend and get a win for Captain Defense. The Ravens take on the LA Rams at the bank on Sunday, and today the Purple Caravan out getting fans fired up. WJZ was at Summit Park Elementary for a pep rally with the marching Ravens, the cheerleaders, and Poe. The Purple Caravan stopped at 4 elementary schools in our area today. Well, the Ravens injury report is out. Grace Creel will have details and let you know who will be actually playing this coming Sunday. A Baltimore street renamed to honor the beginnings of Bowie State University 160 years ago. And the head of the Maryland State Police is retiring, who Governor Moore is tapping to take over the role. And taking a live look at the WJZ Outback, a cool, cloudy start to the weekend, 61 degrees on this Friday evening. Meteorologist Derek Beasley tracking rain and wind heading our way ahead in your First Alert neighborhood forecast. Welcome back. A Hagerstown man is charged with attempted murder after investigators say he initially, or intentionally that is, set a fire inside a storage unit. Deputy State Fire Marshals say a woman was inside the unit at the time. She had to run through the flames to escape. It happened at Halfway Self-Storage around 8 yesterday morning. Excuse me. Investigators say the victim, who lives in the unit, had been arguing with the suspect before the fire was set. 23-year-old Levithian Goodwin is being held at the Washington County Detention Center. The victim was taken to the hospital and is being treated for smoke inhalation. Well, charges have been reduced for 2 adults arrested in connection to that fight outside the Maryland State Fair. A video that circulated online shows a teen being dragged by her hair during the fight back in August. In addition to the 2 adults, Baltimore County Police say 5 teenage girls are also facing charges. Now, the adults, identified as 33-year-old Malika Gamble Thomas and 37-year-old Tiara Gamble, are due back in court in December. A change of leadership at the head of the Maryland State Police Force. Today, Governor Wes Moore announced Colonel Roland Butler will retire as superintendent on November 1st. Butler has been in law enforcement for more than 30 years. In 2023, he became the first black person to lead the state police. State Senator Michael A. Jackson, a former sheriff of Prince George's County, has been named acting superintendent beginning November 12th. Meantime, in Howard County, there's a new 4-legged investigative member of the Department of Fire and Rescue Services. Beacon, a 2-year-old black lab, was sworn in today. Beacon is the 5th arson accelerant canine to serve in Howard County. Using his sense of smell, he will help investigators more accurately and rapidly determine if a fire was intentionally set. A First Alert traffic reminder. Expect backups if you are driving on 695 in the Towson and Parkville areas on Sunday. All travel lanes between I-83 And White Marsh Boulevard will shift toward the outside shoulders to create a work zone in the median. This is part of the State Highway Administration's next phase of its Baltimore Beltway project to ease congestion and increase safety. The overall project expected to be done by late summer of 2027. Tune in to WJZ starting 4:30 Monday morning for first alert traffic updates on your commute. This is going to back things up. And a new street sign is commemorating Bowie State University's 160th anniversary. It's at the intersection of Saratoga and Calvert Streets in Baltimore City because that is where the university got its start in 1865. It was founded in the basement of a church with just about 12 students. And at the time, it was called School Number 1.
The Baltimore Association for Moral and Educational Improvement of Colored People took an extraordinary stand, insisting that every person, regardless of race, deserved an education. From their courage came the founding of what would become Bowie State University, known then as School Number 1. Without this sign, would anyone know about the brave souls who met here, who refused to be bound by ignorance, and who believed that education could open the door to freedom?
And today, Bowie State University offers more than 65 different educational programs, and it was ranked number 11 among best historically black colleges and universities by U.S. News and World Report. Derek.
All right, thank you, Denise. As we take a look at your neighborhood forecast heading into the weekend, looks like we've got some wet weather on the way here, especially by Sunday. Looks a little rough here for the second part of your weekend as we track this nor'easter that's going to be moving up the coast. Tonight, though, cloudy and cool. If you have any plans to head out, just have the jacket, but that's all you'll need. You won't need the umbrella overnight. But tomorrow afternoon could use perhaps some rain gear as we are looking at some showers. They'll try to make their way into the region. And by far, again, Sunday's going to be the day that has the worst weather across our area as far as rain and wind and just kind of uncomfortable to be outside. Here's your neighborhood forecast here overnight tonight. We're looking at Howard County overnight tonight. We're looking at an overcast sky and temperatures for the most part, again, only going to be into the lower 50s, some upper 40s. So we're certainly going to be warmer than we were last night. Again, we've lost some of our data here, but just imagine that temperatures across the board are ranging generally into the 60s. And again, it looks like as we head throughout the evening hours, we're going to be looking at those temperatures slowly falling from the 60s through the 50s. Skies are going to be overcast across the region. But again, the cloud cover continues to spread into the region overnight tonight. And there's our area of low pressure off to the south. You can see there it is right there. And this will continue lifting northward. Could see some spotty showers as early as tomorrow morning, but looks like the best chance will be during the afternoon and evening hours. And we'll see some of those spotty showers. And our futurecast is kind of picking up on that. You can see these little spots of green that are showing up here across the area. And then we'll gradually start to see some of the heavier rain make its way into the region. Now, this is assuming that the storm tracks near the coast. If it tracks a little bit farther inland, some of this heavier rain will be a little bit closer to Baltimore, but a little bit more offshore, and we won't get in on the heavy rain action. Our rain totals will be a little bit lighter. That's one of the things the models have been kind of disagreeing on, is exactly where the area of low pressure is going to track. Notice here through Sunday evening, rain continues Sunday night and into Monday morning as well. So alert day for Sunday is going to be for morning through the evening, coastal flooding, gusty winds, as well as scattered rain across the area. Rainfall totals here through Sunday evening looking like this. These are some of our forecast models, and you can see there's still quite a bit of a range here. We're talking near 2 inches on the North American mesoscale model, but as far as the GFS and the Euro, about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to get some rain. It really ultimately depends on the track as to how much you'll get and who sees the most. Maryland cast for tomorrow, looking at temperatures into the 60s out in western Maryland with sunshine, mostly cloudy skies elsewhere with a few scattered showers. Again, the chance for rain will gradually start to pick up towards the latter part of tomorrow. High temperatures topping out near 70. First alert 7-day forecast. Again, alert day for Sunday for the worst weather. Monday showers continue, and then we start to dry out by the middle of next week. Denise.
All right, thank you, Derek. Well, Rick Ritter and our Nightside team working on a number of news stories for you tonight on WJZ News at 7. And Rick joined us in studio with a look at what's coming up.
Yeah, some late developments tonight with a few different stories, Denise. Questions remain over the future of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We're going to take you inside the courtroom today about what was said during nearly 7-hour hearing there. Plus, why President Trump says he is going to impose a 100% tariff on on imports from China, the stock market, crypto, reacting to that, and much more tonight. All of that coming up on WJZ News at 7. More all local news at 6, right after the break.
Welcome back. The Ravens underdogs once again this weekend against the Los Angeles Rams, and they will once again be without Lamar under center. Grace Grill joining us now with more. Grace.
Yeah, Denise, Lamar was officially ruled out for Sunday's game earlier today, which means Cooper Rush will be making his second straight start for the Ravens. Now, the Ravens offense only able to muster up 10 points last Sunday against the Texans, and Rush threw for 179 yards and 3 interceptions. He plays a much different brand of quarterback than Lamar Jackson does, as you can imagine. But Rush did say he felt more in rhythm after another full week of practice and reps this week, and the Ravens O-line seems to agree.
Communication, not so much. Him and Lamar do a really good job, but in terms of play style, a little bit different. But you know, it's just something you got to adjust to, make a small adjustments, whether that's pass or run, and got to run with it.
And this is a reminder that we will get you ready for the game with our Purple pregame show. Alex Glaze and Kadri Ismail will be at the tailgate, and I will be on the field with the latest updates and injury reports. It's Purple pregame streaming at 11 and then over the air at 11:30 Sunday morning. And finally, it's a sad day for local sports fans and media members as our friend Craig Heiss has passed away. The Maryland native was a longtime radio reporter who covered every team across the Baltimore and Washington region for the past 35 years. Craig was also a valuable contributor to WJZ's Orioles coverage for a number of years. We send our deepest condolences to his friends and family. We'll be right back.
Well, as we've been telling you, the United Way of Central Maryland is celebrating 100 years of service. Tomorrow, the organization is marking the milestone with a centennial benefit concert featuring Common, CeCe Peniston, Whiskey Feathers, Alicia Jefferson, and the Baltimore City College Choir, just among the performers. WJZ proud to be media sponsor. I'll be emceeing the event alongside Tim Williams. If you're unable to join us, you can stream the concert live tomorrow night at 7 on CBS News Baltimore. There are tickets still available if you'd like to show up to the Meyerhoff. Should be great. Thanks for joining us on the news at 6. The CBS Evening News is next, followed by WJZ News at 7.
And we'll leave you tonight with a celebration of the United Way's 100 years of service. Have a great weekend.